So Stephen, why don't you take me back to the beginning? When did the idea first come into your head for Manor Park Classics?
Well, that's a good question, Julian. I think I've had this idea running around in my mind for quite a few years, but and I've made a lot of mistakes in the classic in my hobby.
Right.
Because my main business is property. I'm a chartered surveyor, and I've focused on business all my working life, and I've used the classic car as a pure hobby. But I've struggled with it over the years because it's difficult to get things done with people you trust. And you meet somebody and then they move on, and you go to one garage and they can only do one thing, and then you're struggling, and all of a sudden your car's left for a week, and then you know I think the logistics of it is especially difficult, especially when you've got a busy working life like I have. So it was always in my mind, you know, trying to find this kind of one-stop shop where I could leave a car, I could get everything done. If I wanted to store it, I could store it for a while. If I wanted to sell it, I could sell it. If I wanted to put it in an auction, I would do that. If I wanted some paintwork, and it just doesn't exist. And a couple of years ago, I met, who is now a good friend of mine, Roger Nowell, who is here today, and subsequently he introduced me to Sam Grange-Bailey, and together I told him about my ideas and where I felt that we should be eventually, where I would like to be, and how I've always dreamed about running a business like this. I think I've always wanted to own a classic car business. I used to have a Bentley dealership some years ago, and I missed that. And as a result, my passion for cars has taken me here now. I met Roger, started developing the idea. I built up quite a reasonable collection over the last few years, a lot of it thanks to Roger, and we developed the idea ourselves. It was fundamentally my vision, but it was also Roger helped me develop that idea. And then when he introduced me furthermore to Sam, Sam then finessed it even further. Sam is also a classic car enthusiast and a broker, and a lot of experience, in some ways far more experience than I have with cars. And Sam also added to those ideas. So as a team, we then developed what you see today. We brought Nick Askins on board, George on board, who does all the photography, and we developed a really good team, and then of course yourself.
Yes.
So here we are today with what I feel is, we're not fully there yet, but by the time that we have our first auction, we will be there, and we will be able to offer everything on site, everything.
So you've obviously had a very defined vision there. What actually made you choose this actual location in the country?
Well, that's a good question again. Fundamentally, I had the building and it was empty.
Right.
So that's the honest answer.
Because we're very central, aren't we, of course,
Yes.
to the entire country. We're only 5 minutes, I think, from the M56.
Yeah, but the property company that I run, Hurstwood Holdings, has property all over the country, on over 100 locations. So it wasn't just the fact that I had this one available. I could have put it somewhere else. This one was available, but absolutely right to do it because, as you've just said, the location, central to the UK, 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes to the M56 and the M6. It's unbelievable how well linked it is. You can get here without in an old car without leaving main roads, which is a big thing.
I have to agree with you because I do drive an old car and I
Yeah.
have got here very quickly, very easily.
You know, I've been to events and I've seen people in old cars trundling around lanes in bad weather to and from events, and you know, if you can do that without taking that risk and putting yourself and your car at risk, then it's the best thing. It's also a fabulous location in terms of got a huge area outside where transporters can unload the cars. We've obviously got the facility here, nearly 30,000 square feet of storage, and a fantastic setup in terms of the brokerage setup, the offices. So it was perfect for it.
Yeah,
and that's why we did it.
I would have to agree with you. I think the thing that's impressed me today walking around now that it's started to come together, well, it's nearly finished really, isn't it? It's almost as if this was intended to be a bespoke building straight away. I mean, you've said you just had it as part of your portfolio. You already had the building. That's been very lucky because it really, you know, you could have said this had been purpose built from scratch. You know, that's the impression you get looking around it.
Well, that's very kind of you to say that, Julian. I appreciate you saying that. I mean, we've adapted what is a standard office. It's a hybrid building, what I would call a hybrid building, partly industrial, partly office. And we've adapted it. And on top of that, there's a business centre next to it as well, where we're going to rent out quite a bit of space. So, yeah, I'm really pleased with the results. It's been a team effort. We've designed it within the team, the original team that I've just been through, with all that our input into the building. And you know, it's a substantial investment. I'm very proud of it. And it's going to work well. I'm very confident it will do well.
And obviously, you've mentioned the team that you've put together quite a number of times. How difficult was it to find these people in the first place?
Well, I consider myself very lucky to have recruited that team, and I couldn't have done it without them. I wouldn't have done it without them because, as I've already said, I'm very committed to my main business, the property business, the property investment business, and it keeps me very busy on the commercial property side. So I could not have done it without them. It's taken me years to find those people. When I think fundamentally meeting Roger was the start of it.
Right.
He's a good leader, and he's the managing director. He's in charge of the business day to day, and I'm just in the background helping out wherever I can.
I feel pretty similar to what you've just said there. Obviously, I'll be in the background for the majority of the time, but obviously I will be helping out on the auction days. So yeah, but it's fabulous to be part of that team, to be honest, because everybody brings something different to that team. You know, everybody's got their own little specialism within that. So I feel that puts us in a great position for growth in the future.
I completely agree, and I have to say that I'm delighted you're on board. Over the years, I've seen you perform so well on the auction circuit, and we just had to have you here at Manor Park Classic, so we're delighted you are.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.